Hi everyone, it's Dash of Dave here and I'm back for another crafty video. So today we are going to make one of these, which is just basically a little file with some aged acetate in, and we're just going to make it look very utilitarian. No rhyme or reason to it other than I'm really enjoying this process. I'm really drawn to this green. So this one was made out of an old 78 record sleeve, and what I really liked was this at the bottom, the way that this is sealed at the bottom. So we're going to recreate that kind of look, and I thought rather than use that we'll use it from a file, make it from a file folder, and that way then you can make it as well. So again, you don't have to use file folders, you can use craft cards, you can use whatever you like. I really do like the inside of that, and I also like the outside. Oh gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I don't know. So first of all, we need to cut it down. Okay, so let me get my trusty. Let me find my trusty first. Cutty thing, because technical. It's a technical term. So I think we're going to have it maybe about that kind of thick width. Yeah, we'll go for like that. Let's go for the. We know that this edge is straight. This one. You know the bottom edge is straight because it's a fold. Okay. Whereas this one I'm not sure, because this is where I've cut off the suspension part of it. So cut that down. There we go. Take that off. And we'll lose that for the time being. It's getting. I'd love you to see. No, I wouldn't. I'd be horrified if you saw it. How messy it is around here. So in fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one side with text on and the other one with the crystal file on. Shall I? No. I'm going to have this side. I'm going to have this side visible, and I'm going to flip this side over, and then that way then you can use two separate pieces. They don't have to be joined. Now you're thinking, oh dear Dave, that was so nice and that was all stuck to, but I wanted it to look more like this, so that you've got something on the back this time. The back of this is quite boring really. So okay, so what we're going to do is, now that it's in half, it's much easier to cut your apertures out. So I think I'm going to cut it out of this, yeah, and then that will be the back. So remind me, I'm having crystal file on the back, because that could go horribly wrong and I'll forget. So we need to cut out our apertures. So let's have a think about this. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about this. So what have I put in here? Well, this is just acetate that has been put through an embossing folder. I'll show you that. So there's lots of different acetate that we see, and plastics that we see in packaging everywhere. So this had some odd socks. So anybody that knows me knows that I only ever wear odd socks. And these are actually odd socks. They come as all six are separate. They're completely different, and they're all bright colours and designs and funky patterns and things. I don't have any plain socks, but I don't wear them as pairs. That way then you'll always have a pair, even if you get a hole in one of them. So this sort of thing embosses really nicely. This sort of thing, you can emboss it. So this is like crinkly packaging. You can emboss it, but it doesn't always hold its embossing. This one does. And you can also use things like, there's a balancing act going on over to my side. This kind of thing, so these kind of document wallets, you can use these. What you want is any kind of acetate that if you fold it over and you score it, it will leave kind of a line on it. So if you do this and you score it, and it does leave a line, but as you can see, it kind of blends in with the rest. So you can do it with those kind of things. What I would say is all of those blister packets, that's the kind of thing that you really want. If it's too much of a soft plastic, so these kind of things, this would emboss quite well. if it's too soft, then it will just gradually over time release that pattern. So by that I mean the polythene bags, for instance, they might initially emboss, but over time they'll just flatten straight back out again and you won't see them. So if you crunch it up in your hand, this is good. So, like, you can't do that with these. So the thicker stuff you're looking at, if you fold it over and score it, does it leave a white line? Okay. With this kind of packaging, if it's the polythene one, which is the softer stuff that food bags tend to be made out of, like these kind of things, this is polythene. If you scrunch it up, if it just kind of goes back to itself then, and it doesn't make a crinkly sound, like a crunchy crinkly sound, then it's probably polythene. Whereas these make a crunchy sound and these just spring back. So these kind of go back to themselves gently, whereas these spring back, and this is the kind of thing, the stiffer stuff that you're looking for. Okay, and I am going to use, do I want to use this? I might use this actually. So I'm going to, yes, I'll use this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you have to be careful with this kind of packaging because it is sharp when you cut it off. So keep it out of the way of the kids and the dogs and the cats and the hamsters and the whatever else you've got, the moose. I don't know why you would have a pet moose, but you might. I'm not here to judge you. So this is the kind of thing that we're going to use today. Okay, this was made out of this. Okay, so you see how I put a crease in here and the line is still visible. That's a slice, but this is a crease, and you can still see that. So that's the kind of thing that we want to do. I'm going to show you what happens with this. This thicker stuff will bend. Okay, so it will kind of go out of shape. Now, the reason I wanted to use this is because I wanted to show you what I meant by that. So I'm just going to cut this up because I won't be using all of this and I don't want to put it all through the die cutter and waste it. So we now need an embossing folder. So pick your embossing folder, entirely up to you what you have. I might actually use one of those actually. So these are some tattered lace ones that I still have. Take that off. Obviously never been out of its packaging. So I'm going to use this and I'll show you what happens when we use this. So all you need to do is you close it, you put it in just like you would do normally. You're not going to damage your embossing folders as long as you don't start getting silly and thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to emboss stuff like, let me show you for instance. You're not going to be able to emboss stuff like this. This is hard plastic. We're not talking about this stuff. Okay. So let's get our sandwich sorted. You'll see there's a whole load of stuff going off onto my side because the always stuff on my desk. So we're going to put that in there. I'll just need to, yeah, that happened last time and I put it through the embossing folder and thought, I'm sure it had to, and it disappeared in that time. In fact, I want to put it through, I'll put this piece through because it's narrower. Yeah, that fits in the die better, in the embossing folder better. So you'll see what happens. This embosses beautifully, but you do tend to get a bend in it. So I wanted to show you what I meant by that. Okay, so I'm going to run this through the cuttle bug. It pings out the other side. So this has a beautiful embossing on that. Hopefully you can see that, how beautiful that is. But what you'll notice is it's lost its flatness. It's become curved. So let me try and put that against a background that we know is flat. That, for instance, that has now got a considerable arc in it. Now that doesn't, don't let that put you off, but you do have to bear in mind that because this is tougher than this, and you've glued it down, it will bend this as well. So I just don't want you to be disappointed by your end result if you decide to use this. Okay, so for this project I'm not going to, because I want it to be fairly flat, because I want to keep it in a journal. You can, of course, put it under a brick, but I will say that if you're going to put it under any kind of weight, all you're going to end up doing is flattening the embossed pattern out of it. Don't get me wrong, I love using this as well, but I'm just not going to use it for this project. What I am going to use is what I used last time, which was this. So I'm just going to cut another piece out of here. I want it to be fairly big, so I'm just going to cut this down. So so this file had got split, so I couldn't use it for the little tucky in thing had split, and I couldn't use it anymore. So rather than throw it away, I thought, let's turn it into something. So problem is that has got a slit in it, so I don't want to use that bit. Let's use this piece. You tend to know that it's going to be good because it will have like these lines in it, the white lines where it's got folded in on itself. Okay, so maybe use this one. Let's see, I've not used this one before, so maybe let's use this one again. So get my little bug back out again. Open this up, pop this in. Watch it spring out the other side in a minute. Try not to let it spring quite so uncontrolled as it was last time. There we go. So this will also have a little bit of shape to it. You'll see that it kind of gone a little bit out of shape, but it's less likely to push the finished product out of shape. Okay, so so that's what we're working with. Look how nice that is. So a definite line in it, and it just looks different and, you know, interesting. Okay, so now we want to have some kind of an aperture in this. So do we do the same thing, or do we do something different? I don't know. Let's get the dies out, because I don't have a huge amount of dies. I tend to use dies for these kind of projects. A little bit fancy, rather than, I don't tend to use them for anything else these days. So let's have a look. I might just go for a long, no, I'd like a long panel, but it to be, I didn't want a square corner, I wanted a rounded corner. That's because I'm being ultra fussy, Dave. That's why. Just being ultra fussy. Oh, there you go. That's not. I did one earlier, so I'd lost that before I came on to show you guys. Maybe go for something like that. I might be able to have two of them if I'm lucky. Maybe not. I should have decided this before, shouldn't I? But, you know, here we are. Here we are. The problem is when you're sorting through dies like this, you can end up slicing things off that you might want to keep, like your fingers. No, I'd like to use, maybe I should use that die again, but I don't know where I put that, so. I thought I'd put it back in here, but who knows? Is it that? No, it's not that. Do you know what? I'm going to use this one. So this is not. This is a die of a different kind. So it's still a die, but like it's It's a camera aperture one. It's one of those ones that has some movement to it. So we might play with those one day, but for the time being, if I ask you at that time and say, do you know where I put that? You'll be able to tell me where I put it. So we're going to use this one because this has got a rounded edge like this, but it's square this time. So I'm going to use this just to hold our die down. And then get my cutting board out, get this out and get the right plates together. I'm going to have it off centre, so I'm not going to have it right down the middle, I'm going to have it off centre. In fact, I might want it a little bit further over because I need to glue it down one side, but I don't want it in the middle. So about there. Moving my mat. That's this. Take that one out. And put the next one down. Let's see how long my work is. Oh good, I could get 3 out if I put them in that kind of spacing. I'm not going to worry if they're not perfectly lined up. As you can tell, I didn't worry about it on that one. Man of my word, I'm not going to worry about it on this one either. It's that. It's not perfect, look. Take that out. Pick that one and then put this one in again. About there. Don't worry if I know I've moved the mat, I'll move it back. There we go. Ooh. Trying to get your fingers trapped in there, Dave, every time you do that. Put these out of the way. Okay, so let's take those out. So now this is what we've got. We've got this that will go with this, and we're going to put this, not that one, this one down the back of here. Yep, brilliant, cool, that's what we like. Okay, so the next thing that I did was I inked this up. So I'm going to put that back in there with that, but I'll have to just, oh no, let's, Dave, put it back in the thing, otherwise you won't remember where it came from. There you go, it's back in its packet now. Right, this is where I'm going to need these, because I used alcohol inks. And you know what alcohol inks are like, they get a little messy. So I know that Timmy has recently been doing stuff with alcohol inks. They're not really my thing. The way that he uses them, they're not my thing, but they're perfect for the way that, perfect for what I want to use it for on this. Not big enough, Dave. Just want to work on something so that I'm not making a mess of my work surface. This is just some old cardstock that I wouldn't use in any other way, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this, which I've already got out. So this is the same colour as this, which is, it's a Pantone 154 from a Letraset kit. So, and all I'm going to do is just dab over this. Just cover it all. I like the dabbing because I like the mottliness of it. If you want to wipe, then wipe. If you want to, you know, spread it evenly or leave it to do its own thing, then leave it to do its own thing. Whatever you want to do, it's your project. You do what you want to do. At the risk of sounding Timmy, you do you. Now you could, of course, have left it, you know, natural, but I like it when it looks like it's yellowed over time. I don't mind it if it has the odd drop of, oh, there we go, there's too much coming out there, like where it kind of just creeps into the design. I'm absolutely happy with that. That's where you've got that kind of, you get that pooling and it splits on itself. I'm happy, like I say, with it to do that. That one I didn't, but this one I'm happy. I don't mind. But you know, have a play. You might as well be using these things that you've got all of this for. You know, you've got all these alcohol inks. We tend to buy things. If you're anything like me, in the past I've bought loads of everything and then never used it. So you feel like you have to have it all. So while I'm continuing to work with this, I'm going to leave my gloves on for the time being. Move the embossing folder out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to just work on the front of this. So we want to give it, I want to give it some colour. I say we want to, I'm saying I want to. Just so it doesn't look quite so new. This one is a very new one. That one I didn't give so much colour because it's I'd already got colour. It having age, it being a 78 record sleeve, it had already got its own. It came with its own age, but I'm going to give this a bit of age to it. It also kind of yellows the paper a bit around the edges of that. Those little apertures tend to have a bit yellowing going on. Okay, along that bottom bit, and we'll come back to that when we do the rest of it. So again, on this one, we're going to do that. This, remember, we're having this on the outside, so don't mind this being yellowed and handled looking. Okay, so the other thing I did was if you notice on this one, I've torn the surface off this. Now this will tear differently because this has got this is green all the way through. This has I believe this has a different coloured core, and all I did to make the tearing was decided where I wanted the tearing to be, and I literally, except for it's not going to do it. Oh, you know why? Because it's wet, Dave. It's wet from the ink. So it needs to be dry. It won't tear it otherwise. The reason why it won't tear it is not because it's wet. It's because the ink, the sticky on the tape doesn't stick to the surface. So I don't know whether I've dried this enough now. Nope, not enough. So let's use some. Get it off me. Use some sellotape this time. It's a bit stickier. That one was already broken fibres, so. Right, so be careful if you're using something as sticky as sellotape. You don't want to tear it all apart, so stick it down in patches and pull it up. There you go. And just pull it off. And control it rather than just sticking it all down and just ripping it off, because otherwise you could rip the bits that you didn't want to rip. So press it down, pull it. There you go. Like I say, it just gives it that bit of a look that I like. Ooh, except it's very hard to do when you've got gloves on because it wants to stick to you. There we go. Pull that bit off. Okay. Go. I'm happy with that. So, and I'm going to do the same to the back. Well, I would if I could. So this, I haven't dried this one. Hopefully the sticky tape. Don't bite it, Dave. But I did. You don't bite it. I can bite it. I mean, the quicker you go, like. It's like taking a plaster off or a band-aid or whatever it is that you call it wherever you are. Just get off that. See if it let go of me, which it did. There we go. Right, now I can go back over it with a bit of ink and just yellow off those bits that we've peeled. So I just don't want it to be too new looking. Same goes for here. See, look much nicer when it's gone browny coloured looking. Cool, great. So entirely up to you what you do, etc., and how you do it. Okay. So the other thing we can do while we've got this out, which I didn't do to this, remember we're trying to create a very old looking image, an effect, if you will, and if you won't, then we're still going to try and create that effect, even if you don't want to. Well, I'm going to. You can do what you like. No offence, but you know, you can do what you like. So. I'm just going to make this is just a bit of. I'm hoping this won't stick to this. It might do though. That's the problem. I'm going to create a bit of old tape while I've got this out. Where is it? My little inky thing. Yellowed tape that we like. We all covet this yellow tape. If you buy anything with that real yellow tape on it, yellowed tape is like kept. So, well, it certainly is in my house. There we go. It's fine. It's easy to peel off. Now we can put this on here some way. Might have. Oh. Problem was that it's way too. Oh, just nearly cut the end of my glove off. That'd be interesting. So we're going to have a little bit of this. Around. Oh, Dave. Wanted to stay. Flipped it over, that's why. I want it to stay on there, Dave. There we go. I flipped it over at the end, but actually I'm not unhappy about that. Looks quite good. And then we're going to do the same for maybe a bit, I don't know, maybe on the, no, I won't put that on yet. What we'll do is we'll keep that bit and we'll put that on the back, so it like wraps around the back. So okay, we've got that bit there. Okay, and then now what we're going to do is we're going to put our acetate on it. So all I did was I just glued it across the three like this, and I used my 3-in-1 glue. So, and I just glued out right at the very edges because I knew that you weren't going to see those bits, and then I did around these, which again you're not going to see, but then you're going to have it bonded nicely all the way around. Cool. Not putting too much down, otherwise it ends up squeezing out. Put that on there, and then just let that stick. And what I'm going to do is, while that's sticking, I'm going to leave a brick on it. In fact, I'm going to put that over there. And I'm just going to have a look at this and see if I'm happy with this. Do I want to pull some more of the surface off? I might do, actually. Find a way to stick those that aren't on my glove. I say to myself every time, stop biting that. One of these days, your teeth are going to be left on there. But you know, I don't listen to myself all the time, so I don't listen to myself full stop. Just wanted it a bit more rippy. That'll do. I'm going to put a bit more ink on there, wherever it is. Well, this one will do, it's fine. Rub it into all of those bits where you've split the fibres. Go for vintage photo. And then that way then it looks like it's seen some time. That's the dauber I was looking for. But clearly not in the right place. And hopefully that has stuck. Or maybe you just move out the way for a bit. Okay, so we're going to put this together like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to glue it down this side and along this side. Okay, so we've already got some of these lines going on with the way that the file folder is made to expand, but we're going to emphasize that. So I do want to just, I know that tape has flipped over, so I do want to just glue it down so it doesn't cause any problems. Okay, and I'm also going to add some decoration at this stage. So all I did was I got out some of the stamps and things that I've got, and you know, from things that I've bought, and so I like this. And then I also kind of signed it. Didn't sign it with my name, obviously. I signed it to look like it had been signed by somebody. I can't really sign anything in my own name, let alone in somebody else's name, but I had a play, that's all I can say. I made it look like writing, it isn't. Doesn't say anything. So we're going to put this maybe on there. I like the way I have to stamp it like I mean it. We'll have, I don't know, preliminary maybe this time. Preliminary. See, I always stamp it with such enthusiasm. We're going to stamp it with, I don't know, tender. Tender. We will sign it, maybe. Maybe up here. There you go. Just a pretend signing, and we'll put a date on that. So the reason why this is covered up is just to stop the date from stamping the year, because you know I don't want it to look too modern. I think that's it. That can't be 77th of March, can it? Where's my signature? There we go. Oh, 35th of September. Yeah, Dave, that's not right, is it? Let's cover that up with something, Dave. Let's put entered across it. There we go. 35th. That didn't go very well, did it? This is why I got sacked from my job in the office. No, I didn't. But yeah, you can put the 35th of September in if you like. Sorry, that just made me laugh. Try and compose myself now. Okay, so now I've kind of finished doing what I need to do with the alcohol inks. Oh, hang on, no, there's going to be another bit coming up in a minute. I'm just going to drop some alcohol ink on it as well, because it all adds to the, like, it looks like it's been abused. Stick that in there, might as well, while we've soak up what we've got on the desk. Wipe the rest of it away. Dab that off. Okay, and then another bit of use some blue, maybe. Oh, the blue I liked because it looked like an inked blob. Again, just dab it away with something. Dab it away with a cloth that you're not going to worry about, and wear clothes that you're not going to worry about. There you go. Okay, so we've got that going on. Are we happy with how it looks? Should we have a really enormous date on it? Why ever not? Oh, let's have an index card. Actually, well, we've clearly used this before, so for an index, so let's do 75 at the end. Let's make it an odd number at the end of that. That's 5. That can be a... Let's not go for all odd numbers, Dave. Although, for some reason, I do prefer the odd numbers. Bizarre, isn't it? Well, let's go for a 0. Let's go for a 6. 3, and go for a 9 maybe at the beginning of that. Go for a 9. Okay, so this is a giant stamp. I don't expect you to have anything like this. I've never seen anybody use anything like this before. And I got this for £5 sterling from the scrap place that we go to in Farsley. Scrap, it's called. Now I wanted to go a little bit wonky. Hopefully that's gone a bit wonky, but didn't want it to be too perfect. There we go, that's fine. Brilliant. Just going to pop that back in there. So that clearly doesn't live in my drawer because it's way too big. It has its own little shelf. So that's our reference on there, our catalogue reference. I'll put that on the back like that. You're not really going to see the inside of this, but I'm just going to do the edges that you might see when you open it. And then we're going to glue it down the edges. Wet glue is still downstairs, my white glue. And we're going to glue this. And because we're going to glue it, because we're going to create that look, I'm going to go right down to the bottom edge of there. I'm just going to smooth that out because I've got my glove on still. Might as well use it. I have it, and then we're going to pop that on there and level it up. Brilliant. Let's take these off now. Fabulous. Okay. We can also, if we want to, we could sew this. Do I have any? I was going to say, do I have any ink in my sewing machine? But it'd be silly if I had ink in it. Sorry, folks, you're not going to see it from a camera angle because I haven't set that up for this. But I'm just going to quickly whiz round this. I'll whiz round it from about there. It's not plugged in. It is now. And we're going to go for a zigzag. A zigzag. No, let's go for a straight stitch. Stop messing about. And I'm not worried about going off the edge because it's fine. I'm just going to flip that round and then we're going to go up this side here. Try not to sew your fingers to it though, that would be a very good idea. those through, otherwise I shall lose those for next time. It's fine. Come off a bit at the end, at the top, but I'm not worried about that. What I will do is I will just dab a bit of glue on there to stop it all unravelling. I'll just glue all the fibres together. Take those off. Okay, so this is slightly different to this one. This is what we like. We like it to be a bit different. Okay, we're going to snip the corner. Because we, well, hopefully because we, I was going to say because we can, but I don't know whether we can. Can we get that to go in there? Oh yes. Just being silly. Or I'm just being silly, one of the two. There we go. Snip that little corner off. And there we have it. Okay, so what we wanted to do is we wanted to have those lines at the bottom. So I thought what we could do is we could just flip this over, butt this up against here, and we can put some lines in ourselves. So we can do this and press quite hard. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do every one, but I'm going to go do one space, do one space. There we go. We've got that similar kind of look on the bottom edge there. Without it actually being authentic, we've made it look authentic. And that's what we have. So we've made a little very interesting file folder that you can, well, a little interesting pocket, tuck, tag, whatever you choose to have it as. And there you go, that's it, we're done. So I hope you enjoyed this, just another interesting little make that you can do. I hope you're going to go and give this a try and emboss. So let's just talk about this. The alcohol ink will take a little bit time to dry, okay? It will be a bit tacky to start with. It dries instantly on the card, but be a bit tacky on those bits. But the rest of it, it will be, sorry, and it will dry eventually. You just need to leave it a little bit. Okay, I was going to put a little bit on there, wasn't I? Which I've done now. There we go. There we go. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you'll give that a go. And please let me know if you do. Obviously, don't forget, you can say hello, you can give this a thumbs up, you can put any comment you like. Obviously, please keep it, reasonable and friendly. But I'm happy to hear what you've got to say. And I would like it if you'd like to subscribe. Great, feel free to. All right then, folks. Sorry about the 35th of September, but we've resolved it. Only we know that. So I was going to say it's quite private, but it's not. It's on YouTube. So I do know that there aren't 35 days in any of the months. So just tell my brain that. All right then, folks. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for spending some time with me. I love spending time with you. You keep me in such great company. Thank you for everybody that comments, anybody that likes my videos, anybody that shares. I'm really grateful. Thank you to everybody that's bought anything from my Etsy or bought me a coffee or whatever. Thank you so much to everyone. I love you all, and I love you all without exception until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to, and I'll see you all in the next video. You all take care, folks. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon. Bye.